when it comes to developing a servant heart, how do you begin? It really does start with small acts of you choosing to take the first step, regardless of what you are receiving at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is why it's so important for a man to lead the charge in that.
Yes, a woman can too, but I will say that for the most part, we will be spiteful if we do have to lead. And I heard this, I think it was Andrew Tate, and there are some things I love about Andrew Tate, some things I dislike. But he said that women are spiteful servants. They're spiteful spiteful sufferers. And I do believe that when I am suffering, when I'm going through a lot of things, it makes it very difficult for me to pour love into others, because it's like I get trapped into this cage of emotional roller coaster. And when I feel that way, I do become spiteful. I start to blame I blame other things that are happening around me. I start to question and get insecure about my own capabilities. And I've gotten better at it, but for the most part, when I feel that type of pressure, I can be spiteful. And that's why I think when it comes to who takes the first step, it should be the man. And I know it's so strange, because the old me would have absolutely gagged at that statement. But after everything that I've learned and being in a healthy relationship, I realized that a man choosing to take the first step is the first step in his leadership skills. And it builds that trust for me to see, okay, he's willing to go beyond himself. He cares about us. He cares about me, not just himself. And when I see that you care more about things outside of yourself, it lets me let my guard down. Because for the most part, women, we have seen men be selfish and greedy and want to have more without giving back. I think a lot of women have experienced that in our dating lives for the most part. And so when we see a man actually willing to take the first step, even though he might feel wronged, even though he might not feel that it's fair, when we see a man go beyond his feelings and chooses to serve anyway, that is a form of leadership that we witness. And subconsciously, whether we're recognizing it or not, it's going to keep planting a seed. So that's what I've noticed in you.
Yeah.
And it inspires me in return, because even yesterday, I don't know. I mean, you heard me. I was running back and forth because you wanted to have dinner before 7. And I'm still in the middle of posting my video. It's right in the hour. I had a call with my family, but I'm like, okay, I want to serve Dylan. This is my goal. Even for the weekend, I'm like, I want to become a better servant in this marriage. You've inspired me to want and desire that, because I've been watching you show up in that way. And so yesterday I was editing my video. I go check on the food, go back and edit the video.
While I was
go check on the food, flip the
stuff.
food. Yeah. So, but that's me trying to outpour into you because you've poured so much into me. But yeah, that's the servant heart. And it's cyclical. Mm-hmm. It begins to cycle, but someone has to start it.
Correct. And that's where I think that the man, the healthiest possible relationship dynamic is where the man leads in everything.
Yeah.
And personal growth and forgiveness and emotional regulation and communication and setting boundaries and mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, all of it. If the man leads and he does it well and he leads by example, and he, like, I use this example, but like the Bible stacking.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was doing that for 6 months, and I encouraged you a little bit to do it, and you tested it a couple of times, but like, you like doing your own thing.
Yeah. Bible stacking is a process that we use to communicate with God. It is in the link in the description. So if you guys want to check it out, it's a great process. Okay,
yes. Then by seeing me do it consistently for 6 months and then see the result of it, that was me leading by example. And the entire time I was just sharing with you what I was getting out of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't push you to try to do it, even though I really wanted you to.
Yeah.
And then eventually you're like, okay, I want to really try to do this. And now it's been it's like 7 months that you've been doing it.
Yeah.
And that is simply leading by example, and not needing somebody to immediately adhere to your way of doing things.
It causes inspired action. That's leadership.
Yes.
Because you get people to follow you without you telling them that they have to follow you.
Yep.
It's not a dictatorship. It's inspired action.
Yeah. And so setting the standard isn't always saying like, hey, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Instead, it's showing that this is what we're going to do and letting that person, and this goes for every relationship dynamic, especially, teams and everything, letting people fall in line.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, when it comes to leading on communication and setting boundaries around respect and things of that nature, then there was times where I was like, hey, like we need to make sure that we're respectful. We're not like calling each other names, blah, 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 whatever the case is. And I'm just giving an example of when you may lead by example, but also set a standard that you're trying to get a specific outcome faster than just like leading by example and not saying anything. But I think that if you had to do that, if you had to lead that over and over again in any of those examples, there would have been resentment that would have built up.
I also feel like this dropped in. I also think that men don't recognize those moments as much as women do, because we're hyper observant of behaviors and relationships and how you manage yourself, whereas men are very compartmental. So when we're out serving and showing up first for love and displaying by example a servant mindset, most of the time men aren't going to pick up on that. You have to tell them, and then when you tell them, they also become resentful because it's like, now it sounds like you're commanding them. So a man has to take initiative in that.
Because then he won't want to do it.
Yeah. Or he just won't see it. And then we get spiteful because you're not seeing what we're doing and you're not returning it. And it becomes this cycle of negativity instead of growth.
Yeah.
It's so true.
I think the other thing is that I had to let go of was, and this is where I think a lot of men have to let go of, is that it needs to be fair. And
the fair part
is a 50-50 mindset.
Yes.
Right. And so
that was a hard one for me.
Yeah.
The fair. That is a lie. Okay. We have been lied to, guys. Life is just not fair. Life is not fair. Not in a sense of, oh, woe is me. Life is not fair and I should be sad and that sucks. I mean, life is just not fair and it is what it is.
And to believe that it should be sets you up for disappointment.
Sets you up for failure.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so true, because there are times where, yes, we show up for each other fairly equally, but for the most part, we don't. You support me when I'm down here. I support you when you're down here. And it becomes this cycle of, let me give to you when you can't. And it becomes this cycle where we're actually growing together.
Yeah, but if you're in the mindset that it needs to be fair, then you fall into compare.
Yes.
Right. And
the comparison.
Yeah. And
that part is hard for women too.
Yeah.
That's something we absolutely struggle with.
And it's because you're like, oh, well, he's not loving me the way that I love him. And the way that women actually operate is they do to you what they want back in return. Mm-hmm. Right. And so if a man, which most men don't recognize that's like the way that they're loving you is the way that they want to be loved. And we end up both doing that. But if you are in the mindset that this needs to be fair, then exactly what I do to you needs to be reciprocated back. And that, and you guys, women, can actually keep track of how many times you do something and he doesn't do it back.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so, and each one of those times is another brick in the wall around your heart that eventually builds this wall of resentment that keeps you guys disconnected.
Yeah.
And that's where, again, another reason why men have to lead it, so that it removes the possibility of the resentment. And that's like part of why
also your likelihood of it being more successful is if the man leads it. So why not give yourself the best possible chance of it being successful?
Yep.
And yeah, you can fight with your ego and say, well, I'm a strong, independent woman and I can do this. Cool. I was too, bro. But like when I started feeling this, what it felt like to actually be cared for, and I trust that you're going to continue caring for me and you're not running away from my emotional roller coaster, living a life, a softened life where we let the man do his manly things and I get to go do my hobbies. I get to play. I get to do my like whatever. This life
painting
is,
Jesus right here.
I'm painting Jesus over there. This life is amazing. Like feminists screwed us up.